All right, I've unpacked the bag that came with the back box shipment, the hardware bag, and it has in it the clamps to hold the rails down, drain tubes. These two will hold the front panel down. These are the bumpers so that when the box is up, it won't make noise or damage the cab. These are some clips for when the box is flipped into certain positions, you can clip it down. We got instruction. I removed this tie down from both sides in the back, you can see there, and so I'm going to route the drain tubes. A tip, if you're watching this, is you don't want to epoxy cover the plastic clips back there. Otherwise you're going to have to drill through them and it'll crack the coating, and who knows how that'll turn out. Okay, I butted the seal up against the truck rail liner, and just like the real truck video said, I haven't pulled up all the backing. I also, there was some it's kind of like a rough end, kind of like this on the other side, so I trimmed that off so it was like a nice so the seal looked good, and I confirmed that I had enough to go all the way to the other side. And also I also should be able to trim off a little bit, if you can see, of the rough part of that seal, and I'm going to just try to go along the back like so. It didn't give me a guideline as to where to put it, but I am going to put it kind of closer to the bed. Okay, helpful tip here. I had to go back and pull off the seal. You want to put the seal right up against the radius. I had a pretty big gap here between the radius, and so when I thought I had the bed lined up, and I fully unfolded it, there was no seal between the top of the truck bed, or the tailgate I should say, and so we want to have a seal there, at least one. I don't think two is practical, but at least my point is make sure you put this foam on right up on the edge. The 14 through 16 Sierra does not require shims, and that's because the bed liner, or the bed rail, is perfectly vertical. Before you jump in the back of the truck to put the rails on, loosen all the clamps to get them ready. That way you don't get the rail. Exactly where you want it, but the clamp is closed. All right, we got the bed rail installed now, and this is how it fits. Fits pretty good, I think. Little gap, looks like maybe a possible leak path up there. We'll see how the rest of the cover fits, but I butted it right up against. There's a little foam piece down there to try to get a seal, but you can still see light through there. I guess a couple tips for the installation. If you look up there, see if I can get the right light. So make sure that when you tighten your clamps, you make the teeth fit in the grooves, which if you push the clamp as high as it'll go, the teeth won't align. So it's actually really hard to see here, but there's like a gap actually at the top of that clamp up to the rail, and so if you see a gap and the teeth are sitting flush, you should be in good shape. And then here's where I pushed the rearward clamp as far back as I could get it. I put the middle clamp behind this bump here, and then I pushed the front clamp as far forward as I could. Kind of looks about as even as I think I can realistically get it. This is a short bed truck, so I guess this is what it looks like. And then I'll close up the tailgate and show you the fit. So if you read the instructions, you're supposed to install these rails with the tailgate. There is a small gap there, I'm assuming it's supposed to be because it looks the same on both sides. So I did the middle clamp first, push down and in and tighten the clamp. I kind of tightened it a little bit, then I went to the back and pushed it down, tightened the clamp, and then I did the front. and then once it looked right, I kind of loosened them a little and really pushed down and almost final tightened it. So as far as I could tell, I can move on to the next step, which I think is to drop the tonneau on this bad boy. Now we'll snap on the prop shafts. They just snap in, and then see, they go back here. They get kind of secured under and cleared the clamp. So I've set the tonneau cover on the rails. I just carried it up the ladder. I weighed it. It weighs 45 pounds, 3 ounces. Next, you have to install these brackets before you install the tonneau for the first time. And they also made a point of saying to use a screwdriver. All right, and so now it's time to fit the tonneau. So I need to slide it forward. I've got those brackets installed. I ran a drill through the, like just a drill through the hole, and then those little spacers on the bottom side went in perfectly. So maybe there was a dull drill bit at the manufacturing facility, and so there was some metal left over in the hole that was preventing the piece from going through. That I needed to push the tonneau forward. There's release straps under there, so I pulled those, which kept, and then I was able to lift the back up, which made it really easy to slide it. So I pushed it forward, and I had free hand, so I kept this up in the air. I pushed it forward until this was close to the cab, so to speak, and then I kind of slowly pulled the tonneau rearward until this sort of fell down and made it up flush, and then I just kind of pushed the tonneau forward to make sure it was, you know, right lined up. Or now it's even a little bit too far, so you'll see. Pull it back, you can get it down further. So that's that, and then now we can make the final assembly of the tonneau. The tonneau is now, I think, fully installed in my mind. This is a plastic nut, so I was pretty careful how hard I tightened it. I figure I got it pretty tight. I'll wait a few weeks. I think there's that original seal that we put in has some tension right now, so that'll relax, and then I'll just reach over and snug this up as we go. I don't know if we'll be able to see this, but it gets pretty close to the block. At least there's this bonded on block back there. It sort of tries to take up the gap. So there's this step that you can kind of make out here. I pushed the tonneau forward till that bumped up against the front of the bed, and then that was pretty much it. So doing that made it even across. I've got a back box to install, so I'm going to do that, and then I'll probably do the drain plug. All right, here is the full function of the BAKFlip MX4. This is how we're looking now at the front, nice and flush. These pieces kind of, I already had them pulled out, but they tucked back under, so everything I've read says they all smoothen themselves out over time. All right, and now I'm going to retract it. And then here is how the bumpers worked out. I just cut them to cover the stop lamp back here. Shoved it, there's a lot of length, so you can kind of shove it so it'll hopefully squirt down on the ground for the most part instead of on the truck body.